Hello, my divine audience. I wanted to do a personal reading here for you this evening. I felt very drawn to just trying to help people spiritually, emotionally, mentally. I just felt very drawn to that this evening. So I wanted to spread some joy, spread some love, and see what the cards had in store for you guys. So like I said, we're doing a personal spread this evening. I have everything written down. We're going to do a 10 card spread, and the first card is going to represent you as you are. The second card is going to represent the past. The third card is going to represent the present. The fourth card will represent the future. The fifth card is going to be some positives about you. The sixth card is going to be some negatives. The seventh card is going to be something you should let go. The eighth card will be something you should let grow in your life. The ninth card should represent peace for you. And the 10th card is going to be some advice for that peace to achieve it, or just overall advice in general. And then that is a preview of the spread layout. It's going to be like a big circle, like the circle of life. Bada bing, bada boom. As you can tell, this is going to be a 3-card pick a pile. I have 3 different tarot decks for you to choose from this evening. All of these tarot decks that I have on the table, including many, many more, are all based on Avatar: The Last Airbender characters. Their personalities are based on Avatar: The Last Airbender characters. So the first pile that you have to choose from is this little guy right here, but don't be discouraged by his size. He packs quite a punch. This here is Zuko. And then the second pile we have here is going to be Toph. And then the third pile that we have is going to be Iroh. So I have all of the people I felt like I would want advice the most from the show. I was like, if I could have a conversation with any of them, who would I want to have a conversation with? And those 3 just like immediately came to mind. Just for like life advice and just like motivation, pushing forward, moving forward, etc., etc. I figured they would be the best for something like that. So we already went through the pile options, and I want to go through the crystal options for you as well for the different piles. So for pile number 1, or Zuko, we have this beautiful red tiger's eye. Hard to see it. Let me try to catch it in the light, but it is the red tiger's eye. And for the second pile, I have this beautiful purple piece of Flourite. And for the third pile, I have this wonderful piece of Malachite, and it is raw Malachite, and it is absolutely stunning. So pick based on the crystals, pick based on the way that the cards look, pick based on your heart, your gut, your head, the avatar characters you want to talk to, whatever you want to choose, however you may choose your pile, that's how I want you to do it. And yeah, I'll give you a second here to really hone in on your decision, but I will see you guys at your pile. Thank you so much. Good evening, my divine audience. If you chose pile number 1, or this red tiger's eye little tumble, or Zuko, or just the way that the back of the card looked, however you chose this pile, I am happy to be here with you, and I'm happy to read this pile for you. Like I said in the intro, this is going to be a personal spread. It's going to give me a little bit of information about you as a person, and I hope in learning that information about you that I can help you with any problems or challenges that you may be facing at the current moment. We'll dive into those. I can probably infer some of the things that you might be going through, and I may be able to give advice, and I may be able to get advice from the cards on how to help you through your situation. So that's just what we're trying to do here today. Let's go ahead and shuffle and get started. So I already bridge shuffled like this. I already did that a bunch of times. But I do like to get and actually pick the cards on camera for you guys. So the first card we are going to get is going to represent you as you are. So may I please have a card to represent pile number 1 as they are? Card to represent pile number 1 as they are. Well, we got 4 cards that popped out. We can only see 2 of them, but we got 4. So I'll kind of put them all in the middle here, and we'll go from there. Try to put them in the middle. We'll try to make this a circle, but we'll see what we can do. So you guys already, I can tell, are very, very strong, bold people, pile number 1. Of course you are. You chose Zuko. I can tell you've got like this huge fire energy about you. It's very in your face, very bam, bam. But there's also a sadness to you as well, pile number 1, with the swords here. Swords always represent our emotions, and I always take the swords to represent the emotions that cut us, the emotions that hurt us, the emotions that make us deeply think and make us deeply feel. So I can tell you've got some feelings that are really sticking with you and are really weighing heavy on you, pile number 1. You, as you are, like I said, are a very strong, very bold person. You've got a lot of people by your side that you can lean to for support, which is great. But yet you seem to be here fighting by yourself in this Queen of Swords. I'm so sorry. We didn't even go through the cards that popped out. I got so excited to get into the reading. Of course, you got the 4 of Swords. You got the Magician. And you got the Queen of Swords to represent you as you are at this moment in time. And yeah, as I was saying, you have people that you rely on, pile number 1, and you have people that you trust, but at the same time, I see you portrayed here as just kind of like fighting your own battle, kind of like fighting by yourself. Do you think you're by yourself? Do you truly feel like you have no one with you? Because from what I can see and from what the cards can tell me already is that you do have people on your side. Maybe that's just something you needed to be reminded of. Because you definitely have people that respect the way that you think about things. They respect your work ethic and the way that you conduct your business and the way that you conduct yourself as well, pile number 1. And yeah, I'm really just getting this strong message to tell you that you are not alone and you are not fighting whatever battle you are fighting. I promise you, you are not fighting it alone, pile number 1. All right. That's given me so much information about you already, but I would like to get to know the past you. So may I have a card to represent pile number 1 in the past? Okay. We got the Hierophant. So past you, it's almost like it's leapfrogging and piggybacking off of the Magician energy that you're holding on to right now. It's almost as if you've blossomed from this energy up here into this energy down here. Maybe you weren't as so sure of yourself before. Like you were definitely in touch with your beliefs and your emotions and your value system, pile number 1 with the Hierophant. You knew what you wanted and you knew what you wanted to achieve and how you wanted to achieve it. But at the same time, maybe you weren't so self-confident and maybe you weren't so... maybe you just weren't so confident within yourself, pile number 1. And I'm really happy to see that you've blossomed already, it seems. And I'm just hoping to see how we can help you blossom even further. And even then, even in the past, pile number 1, you still had people that were rooting for you and supporting you, even if you couldn't see them, even if your back was to them. You couldn't see them, but they were there for you, helping you, pushing you, wanting you to succeed. Pile number 1 is what I'm getting. Very good energy so far. Very good energy so far. I'm going to draw this back a little bit because we need more room. Okay. Now, I got you in the past. I would like to get you in the present. May I please have a card to represent pile number 1 in the present? The 2 of Cups. So right now, just like with what I was shown with you as you are, your present moment is looking fulfilled. And that's what I'm seeing. Again, with the Hierophant that popped out for your past, I can tell that you've overcome a situation. You have recently been through something. You've recently been through a time. You've recently been through some emotional challenges and some mental challenges concerning yourself and your confidence and your self-esteem and things like that. And I can tell that now you are thinking about things differently and you are looking at the world differently and you are trying to use this new viewpoint to further enhance and shape your world and your present moment, and you're trying to do it with another person. So whether or not you recently got into a relationship or you are in a long-term relationship and you just recently went through a phase or what have you, I can tell that there is someone that you have by your side that you truly appreciate and is really, really helping you and maybe even helped you get over some of these moments in your past, pile number 1. Now, with all that being said, I would like to look to the future and see what the future has in store for you. That popped out so quickly. Oh my goodness gracious. The Knight of Cups in the reverse. So with this current momentum, however, we have, and I'm going to put this over here. With this current momentum, we have the Knight of Cups in the reverse. And he's got a blindfold on. He's got the hair like Medusa. He's got his knives up in a defensive position. I can tell that your future is going to be full of deceit. Someone is going to try to deceive you or do you dirty, or you are trying to protect yourself from someone doing you dirty or deceiving you, pile number 1. I don't know whether it is this person here that's represented in this 2 of Cups or this person or situation from your past that made you feel not so confident, but something is going to happen and it is going to turn your future upside down. And it is going to essentially put you back, probably even push you back farther than where you were whenever you were feeling this Hierophant energy, pile number 1. Your cup is pouring out. You're losing your footing. You're off balance. Your future is not looking too good, but it's just your immediate future. And remember, you always have free will. Everything can change within the blink of an eye. I could do the same reading for you in 5 minutes and it could be completely different because you have free will and the people around you have free will as well. So never forget that. Now, I definitely want to look at some positives for you, pile number 1. So what are some positives about this? What are some positives that we can glean from all of this information? Pile number 1. The Hermit. Maybe a positive for you, pile number 1, is your ability to go within and reflect and really, really understand yourself and understand who you are as a person. I can already tell from the beginning that you are very bold, very strong, and you definitely have a strong sense of self as well. So even though somebody may or something may throw you off your game here in the near future, Never forget that you have this uncanny, almost unnatural ability to recenter yourself and find your peace again. So don't ever doubt that, pile number one. You have that ability within you. I promise you do. Now, with the positives being said, what are some of the negatives about this situation, pile number one? What are some of the negatives? The Queen of Cups. How can the Queen of Cups be negative, you might ask? Well, it all depends on your viewpoint and how you look at things, and how you perceive information and how you process information. So pile number one, I'm thinking here, maybe you do have some kind of opportunity or something, some entity, some manifestation of an opportunity is representing itself in front of you, and you are not seeing it as an opportunity because you see it as something else. You see it as something negative. Where everybody else sees it as a positive, you see it as something negative. However, that cognition has been shaped in your brain. You need to unshape it. You need to unshape it, pile number one, and you need to start receiving this information specifically as a positive. Because the Queen of Cups is in control of her emotions, she owns her emotions, and she shares her good emotions with other people and her negative emotions with other people whenever they need it and whenever she needs to. And maybe you're just not in a place right now where you want to share any kind of emotions with anyone, but maybe that's what you need to do in order to heal and process and move forward, pile number one. Sometimes confronting the negatives about ourselves can tell us more than the positives. So, what is something in your life that we should let go? What is something that we should just let go of? Ooh. The 10 of Cups. So yes, 100%. It is the way that you are perceiving this positive information. Because whatever this is, it's positive. And you, pile number one, are not letting it be positive. You are forcing it to be negative. I don't know what this information is. I don't know. I'm not here to put any ideas in anybody's brains. I'm not here to give false information to anyone. But all I can see is that there is some kind of information that is being presented to you. And it's being presented in the way it's meant to be taken, which is positive. But because of the way you perceive information, you're perceiving it as negative. And you need to change that, pile number one. You need to be able to change that and see this negative for the positive that it actually is. You need to let go of your perception of the 10 of Cups, of your perception of happiness. You need to let go of your idea of what that stuff means for what it actually is, pile number one. With that being said, what is something that we should let grow in our lives, pile number one? What is something that we should let grow? The Page of Swords in the reverse. So for me, I think that means you need to let grow your resolve a bit more, and maybe even your defenses. Maybe you are a little bit too trustworthy with information, and that's why everything over here is getting a little askewed and cattywampus. I tilted this. I didn't mean to. Oh my goodness. There we go. Sorry about that. I think what you need to let grow is, your defenses and your resolve. You need to become stronger in the way that you negate people. The word no is such a powerful thing, pile number one. And I think you need to learn it and start having it in your regular vocabulary. Now, simply, what does peace look like for you? Pile number 1. What does peace look like for you? With all this being said, what does peace look like for pile number 1? We got 2 cards. We got the King of Swords and the Seven of Swords. And the Seven of Swords for me is the card of trickery. So peace for you is overcoming any trickery or any deception in your life. Somebody or something has done you dirty too many times, pile number 1, and you are sick of it. You are tired of it. You are tired of letting it bother you. You are tired of letting it shape you. You are tired of letting it keep you up at night. You want to squash it before it even happens. You want to tackle it. You want to dismantle this oppressive establishment board by board. Essentially, pile number 1. You don't want any deceit, any lies, anything. You are too honest of a person, and you absolutely hate when anybody lies to you and deceives you, especially if it's somebody that you thought you could trust. And peace looks like you regaining that trust with somebody else. Maybe regaining trust to someone who has done you dirty in the past. Maybe somebody is trying to come back. But the question is, do they deserve that trust to be regained? That's something that you have to figure out, pile number 1. That's something that you have to determine. You do have free will. There is no right or wrong answer. It is up to you. There is never a right or wrong answer. It is up to you the way that you want your life to play out. All I can see is basically just the story that you're telling me right now with your energy. That's all I'm reading. That's all I'm interpreting. And the story you're telling me is that you don't like liars, and you've been lied to too many times, and your peace is being protected from the liars. That's what your peace looks like. No liars. Get the liars out of here. You can sniff them out because you've been there, done that, have the receipt. Don't need it anymore, pile number 1. All right. Now, could I get some advice for pile number 1? This card wants to pop out. The 8 of Pentacles. Even though things seem so not the way you want them to be right now, pile number 1, even though things are not going according to plan, even though you are working yourself to the bone, it seems, your work is infinite and it never ends, and you are stressed and you feel like you want to give up and you feel like you want to quit, I promise if you keep going, you will reap the rewards. You reap what you sow, pile number 1. And if you sow good fortune, you will reap good fortune. I promise you that. Let's take a look at the card that's on the bottom of the deck. I always feel like it's a really good summarization of the reading. And we've got the 5 of Pentacles. I think that is absolutely perfect because this is essentially another piece of advice that we're getting. Pile number 1. What do you need to let go of and leave in the past? And what do you need to hold on to and bring with you into the future? Is it a person? And if it's a person, do they need to stay or do they need to go? Is it a job? If it's a job, does that job need to stay or does it need to go? Anything like that, pile number 1. I want you to be diligent, and I don't want you to make a rash decision. I want you to sit with this. I want you to try to think of every scenario and every possible outcome to this situation before you make a final decision, pile number 1. But the cards are with you. I am with you, and I know you can do this. I know you've got this, pile number 1. Let me know how it goes in the comments. Thank you so much, guys. Bye. Hello, my divine audience. If you chose this purple fluorite tumble or Toth or pile number 2 or the back of the card or whatever drew you to pile number 2, I'm happy to be here and do your reading for you today, guys. Let me set the crystal here. Now, as I said in the intro, we're doing a personal spread for you. This is going to give me a little bit more information about you as the viewer And I'm going to take that information and hopefully get an insight into your life right now, any problems you might be facing, and I'm going to try to help you with those problems. I'm going to try to give you the best advice that I can, and I'm going to try to give you the most accurate advice that I can. So with all that being said, I have already bridge shuffled the cards. Like, I've already taken them and done this like 86,000 times. I shuffle like crazy, if you know me. So let's just get into it. The first card is supposed to represent you as you are. So could I have a card to represent pile number 2 as they are, which is going to be the Chariot. So you, pile number 2, are filled with lots of energy. You are a bundle of energy. You are constantly moving forward. You are constantly bouncing between tasks, this thing, that thing, this thing over here. You might have a little ADHD. You might have a little problem with focusing sometimes, but that's okay, pile number 2. We're all like that every now and again, shiny objects and whatnot. But that's not a negative, you know? That's not a negative by any means. You just have to learn how to control it, pile number 2. And I'd say you are definitely, hopefully, the kind of person to control it. So far, you seem capable. I'm not getting any red flags so far. The Chariot is very, very good energy. You have a very good energy about you, pile number 2. So yeah, with this wonderful forward momentum, I would love to see what your past has to offer. So what does the past look like for pile number 2? What does the past look like for pile number 2? What does the past look like for pile number 2? Strength. So there has definitely been a lot of troubles in your life. Pile number 2. There have definitely been a lot of struggles and a lot of pain and suffering that you have had to go through, but you have had to use your own inner strength and this Chariot energy and your ability to move forward. Your own personal strength is something to admire, pile number 2. Like, wow, I am getting such a wonderful, strong, positive energy from you, pile number 2. No matter what you faced in your past, I can already tell that your future, you are going to push through any problem in any situation that you are faced with head on and with very, very grounded ideas and opinions, pile number 2. So with that being said, what does the present look like for you? What does the present look like for pile number 2? Ooh, it flipped over. The Page of Wands in the reverse. So in the past, you were almost holding the world, or this sun that I feel like represents your world. You were kind of holding it up on your back. And now you're almost kind of reflecting on your past and looking at your past mistakes and wondering, did I do enough? Was I enough? Was I there for that person enough? Did I do this task to the best of my ability? Like, you're sitting here in the present with all of these questions and all of this self-doubt, and it's swarming in your brain and it's making you spiral, pile number 2. And like I said, with the strength that you've already used in your past, I know that you can use it here in the present and in the future to overcome these negative thoughts that you're having about yourself. Because that's just what it is, a negative thought. Just because you think something does not mean it's a fact. That just means it's an opinion. And opinions are not facts, pile number 2. I feel like you needed to hear that. Opinions are not facts. And I promise you, you are not whatever you're trying to tell yourself you are, pile number 2. Now, I would like to get a look at the future for you, pile number 2. So what does that look like? The 4 of Swords. So maybe you do, pile number 2, take some time here coming up. Maybe you take some time to sit and reflect on your past. And that's okay. Everybody is allowed a moment of rest and reflection. Everybody is allowed to take time to really look back and think and collect themselves and understand themselves, because understanding our past is the best way to move forward with our future. And I think that's really what you're going to do. You're just going to kind of take stock of everything you have, kind of build yourself up again, pile number 2. I really like the idea of that. I feel like you are using your strength and you're using your head and you're using your resources wisely. And that's what I like to see, pile number 2. So the future does look bright. It just looks a little strenuous, but it's nothing that you can't handle, pile number 2. So what are some positives? What are some positives that we can take from all of this? What are some positives that we can take from all of this? We've got the 2 of Cups and the Emperor. Ooh. So the 2 of Cups and the Emperor. I'm going to say the positives that we should take away from this are you are suffering. And I hate to say it, but you are suffering from bad bitch syndrome, pile number 2. I'm sorry, but Chariot, Strength, the Emperor, you've got it going on, pile number 2. What's your secret? What's your secret to success? Because I would like to tap into that energy myself. I am not as put together as this. When I do personal readings for myself, nothing looks this positive. But I'm getting off track. Your positives are just that, positives. Whenever someone thinks about the positive things that could go on in their life, like structure, stability, financial success, you seem to have it, pile number 2. You seem to already be successful, and you already seem to be inviting positives and good vibes into your life. That's your positives are just simply that, positives. Like I don't know how else I can describe that. Your positives to me are, again, I'm sorry, all I can think about are just the ways that you are already succeeding, pile number 2, and it makes me wonder, why do you think you're not? So what are some negatives for pile number 2? Oh my goodness. We've got the 3 of Wands and the Ace of Cups. And look at that. Both of these people are sitting here reflecting, and it looks like they're looking again, what did we say, at the past. I think your problem, pile number 2, is that you're obsessed with the past. Whatever happened up here where you had to use all your strength, you almost seem to think that you've used up all of your reserve strength and energy, and you don't have any left, and you can't do anything else about any other situation. Oh, excuse me, I just knocked everything over. And you think you can't do anything else because you feel like you've already overcome something so immaculate. But I promise you, life is always going to be throwing curveballs at you, front, left, right, and center. And you're going to have to be able to navigate and gravitate yourself towards your true north. That's what my dad always says, your true north. And I feel like the universe is constantly guiding you with these positives and with this good fortune. So your true north is always going to find you, pile number 2. And you just don't have to be stuck in the past. I promise you, if you let go of whatever it is that is holding you to any date that is past the present date on the calendar, you need to let go of it immediately, because it is not serving you. No matter how hard that may be, no matter how hard it seems, and no matter how much you don't want to do it, I promise you, you yourself will feel better for it. And if it's a person, just remember, if they cared about you the way that you care about them, they would never let you experience what you're experiencing now. They would never let you experience it if they cared for you the way that you care for them. So it's better to just cut them off, get rid of them, do what you need to do to make yourself healthy and better. Because honestly, screw them at this point, right? Like, why even bother? Why even try? Sorry, I feel like you just needed to hear that, pile number 2. So with that being said, what is something that you need to let go of, pile number 2? What is something that you need to let go of? The 6 of Pentacles. Maybe you're giving too much, pile number 2. Maybe you are giving too much of yourself, too much of your happiness, too much of your positives. You're giving too many of your positives away to people that just frankly don't deserve them, and they don't know what to do with them. And you need to stop doing that. You need to let go of letting go. You need to stop giving and giving and giving, and you need to start taking, pile number 2. Have you ever taken any kind of energy that you seem to be giving? Have you ever received it back? That's what you really need to be asking yourself. Have you ever received that energy back? Because if not, then absolutely stop giving that out. Stop handing that energy out, because I'm telling you, these people don't deserve your positives, pile number 2. You are a shining light. All I'm seeing here is sun after sun after sun after sun, and strength and forward momentum and positive energy. And everybody is always going to want a slice of that. And you're going to have to figure out who is actually worthy of it. And unfortunately, there is no list. There is no list of people. We just have to figure that out on our own. And it sucks and it's shitty. And sometimes, just like this, we give our energy to the wrong people. But we identify it, we fix it, we put a patch on it, and then we move forward, pile number 2. And that's what we're trying to do here. So with that being said, what should we let grow, pile number 2? Oh my God, we got so many cards. We got 3 cards. What should we let grow? The 7 of Swords. Where do these need to go? Over here. The King of Swords and the 2 of Wands. I think exactly everything I just said, pile number 2. You need to let grow your inner peace. You need to let your energy blossom, and you need to stop giving it out to people that don't deserve it. You need to let your mental creativity blossom. You need to let yourself blossom in your career path, in your personal success, whatever success looks like for you. You need to achieve it and let it grow. And the only way you're going to do that is by stop giving your energy out and start putting it in places that best serve you and not other people, pile number 2. Let yourself grow, not anybody else. I think that's what you need to hear. Let yourself grow, not others, yourself. So with that being said, what does peace look like for you, pile number 2? What does peace look like for pile number 2? Okay, this card is also popping out. Temperance and the 5 of Wands. So peace for you is a balancing act, and that's okay. Peace is different for everybody, and balance is different for everybody. The way It's all about if you can get yourself to sleep at night. As long as you can get yourself to sleep at night, pile number 2, I think you're doing all right. As long as you can go to bed without anything weighing on your conscience heavy, I think you're doing a good job, and I think you'll be at peace. And it looks like you will be at peace whenever you have people who can help build you up and lift you up. And like I said, and what's the recurring theme, pile number 2, is you giving your energy to people who don't deserve it. Once you start finding the people that actually deserve your energy, they're going to start building you up in the way that you want them to build you up rather than tearing you down. And that is what peace is going to look like for you. So what is some advice? How can we get this peace in our life, pile number 2? What is some advice for you? The High Priestess and the 2 of Swords. Reflection, pile number 2. Owning your mistakes, correcting your mistakes, correcting yourself, and forward movement with the Chariot, just like you are, just like you can naturally do, pile number 2. Move and change and move for yourself, not for others. That's what I think you need to hear, pile number 2. Move and do for yourself, not for other people. I would really like to look at the bottom of the deck. I feel like the last card is always a very good summation of the reading. Let's see what we have here. Death. Absolutely. Change, pile number 2. Change, 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 change all around. And you have the ability to push yourself forward through this change. You just have to figure out how to navigate it. There is no cheat code for navigating change, unfortunately. You have to find it from within. And I hope that you can, and I hope that you have a little bit more willpower after watching this, pile number 2. Well, thank you so much. This is all I have for you. I hope to catch you in the next video. Bye. Hello, my divine audience. If you chose this wonderful raw fluorite little piece, and I'll set the crystal right here, or if you chose Iro or pile number 3 or the back of the card or whatever you use to choose your pile, I'm glad to be here with you in pile number 3 to do your reading for you here today. With that being said, guys, I have already bridge shuffled the cards for you, and by bridge shuffle I mean this. I have already done that so many times. I shuffle the cards like crazy. But I like to pull the cards on camera for you. So let's just get into it. The first card is supposed to represent you as you are, pile number 3. So may I get a card to represent pile number 3 as they are at this moment in time? Ooh, we got a couple. Pile number 3. We've got Judgment. We've got the Queen of Wands. And we've got Temperance. So right off the bat, pile number 3, I get the sense that you yourself are not a very judgmental person, but you feel like you are being judged, pile number 3. You feel like you are judged often. And you really don't understand it because you feel like you are a very, very nice, easygoing person. You feel like you're easy to get along with. You feel like you're nice and kind and like you hold doors open for people. You do what you're supposed to do. You're a good Samaritan. You don't understand why you get judged the way that you do and why people say the things that they do about you. But you have to understand, pile number 3, is that people are people. And it's all human nature, unfortunately. Everybody does shitty things all the time. And we just have to basically, we just kind of have to pick and choose we basically just have to pick and choose our battles, pile number 3. Is this something that we want to turn into something, or is this something that we want to let go? And I think that's kind of what you're struggling with right now, pile number 3, is this sense of deferment in a way, if that makes sense. It's a very taxing, very trying energy, pile number 3. I can tell you're going through it right now, and I'm very sorry. With that being said, I'd like to get a little bit of information about your past. So what does the past look like for pile number 3? Oh, that one shot all the way on the floor. First card to go on the floor today. And that is the 3 of Wands in the reverse. So I feel like maybe you had a falling out with people, and maybe that's where all of this judgment is stemming from. And if that's the case, if you had a falling out with them, who cares what their opinions are? Who cares what they have to say about you? Who cares? Pile number 3. If they are no longer in your life the way that they used to be, why let them affect you the way that they used to affect you? Why give them that much mental space and mental capacity if they're not even in your life anymore? Why give them that energy, pile number 3? Why? Yeah, I can just tell you were did dirty in the past. Maybe you also need to watch pile number 1, pile number 3. There's some similarities there. What does the present look like for pile number 3? What does the present look like for pile number 3? The Ace of Swords. So you are attempting. Try to put that in frame. There we go. You are attempting, pile number 3, to start over, to have some kind of fresh start, new beginning, but you're doing it in a way where you seem to be cutting people out and cutting people off. And that's okay. You are allowed to do that. Again, we just have to be smart about who we're cutting off, because we always have free will. We're able to do anything that we can within reason as being human beings with access to the things that we have access to. But at the same time, I can tell you're just very confused. Pile number 3, you're very confused about how, I guess, to start over, because you were done so dirty. You don't know where to go from here. You want to start, and you have this idea to start, and you have all... It's the thought that counts, right? Pile number 3, but that's okay if we can't figure out how to start over yet. It's okay if we're stuck. It's okay if we're lost. We don't always have to have it figured out, pile number 3. We don't always have to have it figured out. What does the future look like? Oh shit, for pile number 3. The world. That is beautiful, pile number 3. You have the world at your fingertips. What did I just say? Within reason, humans, we can do pretty much anything we set our minds to. And the future for you is that bright. You can do almost anything that you set your mind to, pile number 3. I just feel like maybe you need to watch pile number 2 as well. I just feel like you're holding yourself back a little bit, pile number 3. In this sense of maybe not wanting to repeat past mistakes, or not wanting to give your energy to the wrong people again, whatever that may be. I just feel like you're kind of holding yourself back a little bit, and you're not letting yourself see or reach your true full potential. But I feel like here soon you will be able to see that, because that is what the future has in store for you, is the world, pile number 3. So we will be getting over that hump eventually. It's just right now, that's where we seem to be at. What are some positives that we have to look at here for pile number 3? What are some positives for pile number 3? Ooh. The Star. So pile number 3, you are a shining light. You are, people look up to you, pile number 3. People look to you for advice and guidance, and they just really appreciate and admire you. You have a lot of admirers, pile number 3. I don't know if you realize that or not, but you have a lot of people that look at you and just appreciate you for who you are and what you are, which is a beautiful person and a shining star. And that makes me so happy, because I really feel like you needed to hear that, pile number 3. You really needed to hear how loved and appreciated you are, and I promise you that you are. You are, pile number 3. With that being said, what are some negatives? What are some negatives that pile number 3 has to think about? What are some negatives for pile number 3? The Tower and the reverse. So for me, when the Tower's in the reverse, it just amplifies and magnifies the Tower's energy tenfold. Definitely things are not looking up for you right now, and maybe even so, whenever things don't go to plan, pile number 3, maybe you kind of spiral a little bit, and that's okay, but we just have to understand that life is always going to throw curveballs at us like this, and it's up to us to figure out how to deal with it and roll with the punches, essentially. And I know that you can do it, because we have this world energy here in your future. It's going to take a little bit of time and a little bit of practice, but I promise you will be able to guide your life even when things don't go to plan. What is something that pile number 3 needs to let go of? What is something that pile number 3 needs to let go of? The 10 of Wands. You need to let go not family, but yeah, not family. It's not a family thing. I almost got the sense that it was when it like very first popped out, but not with the 10 of Wands. It's more than that. It's an amalgamation almost of your greatest fears, I would say. And that is something that you need to let go of. Just like I said earlier, life is so bizarre and you cannot plan for anything. And whenever things change, whether they be for the better or for the worse, we have to be the ones to figure out how to navigate those changes. And I think for you, there's so many options that are presented to you whenever things like that occur, and you just get overwhelmed. You just kind of stall out, and you don't really know where to go from there. And I think that kind of feeling and that kind of notion we need to let go of, because we need to be able to move forward whenever those big changes happen. And I don't know how you're going to be able to do that, pile number 3. There is never any kind of list or anything that gives us a cure-all for the problems in our lives. So that is something that you're going to have to figure out, unfortunately. But whenever you do, I promise you, the world will open up for you, and you won't feel so overwhelmed all of the time whenever you let that negative energy go, pile number 3. What is something that you should let grow, however? What is something that you should get more of, pile number 3? The 6 of Cups and the 5 of Cups. Interesting. What are we leaving behind? What are we bringing with us? Where are we going? Excitement almost, pile number 3. What you need to let grow is the future. What you need to let grow is life. You need to let life progress as it's going to progress, happen as it's going to happen, and appreciate it for what it is. Absolutely. I think you need to have an appreciation for life again, pile number 3. I really do. I really, really do. And you will have that appreciation whenever you realize that you are the one who is able to make the hard decisions in your life. Life and the universe, God, yes, they all affect us, but we control how we react to the things that affect us. And once you realize that you have that power and that control, it's game over for everybody else. You know what I mean? It's game over. What does peace look like for pile number 3? What does peace look like for pile number 3? The Lovers. So for you, peace is with a loved one, with that someone special, with that precious, precious someone. And if that's the case, you're going to have to figure out how you can build your life around that peace and around that loved one. And it may start with moving closer to them. It may start with moving away from somebody else. Like, I'm not sure, but whatever moves you need to make in order to be with the one you love, do it, because it'll bring you so much more peace and joy and happiness. I promise you that, pile number 3. And lastly, do we have any advice for pile number 3? The Ace of Cups. You can start over, pile number 3. You can start over, and you will be able to start over. You just have to find that happiness for yourself, and you have to build that happiness up for yourself. Because we're not going to move. We're not going to make any moves. We're not going to do anything whenever we're not feeling up to it. Whenever we're not mentally and physically or emotionally feeling strong, we're not going to do anything. You have to build yourself back up. When you build yourself back up, that's when you're going to be able to make those hard decisions and even the easy decisions. But I promise you, you will get there, pile number 3. You will get there. I promise you that. The cards and the universe and I am on your side. It's going to take a little bit of time, but I promise you, you will get there in the end. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.